In Vaulted Halls Entombed is the perfect type of show. It is the kind of show that gives the appearance of one thing, but as the show progresses it morphs into something unimaginable. These types of shows are literally the best kind of TV entertainment. So let's start our breakdown of Vaulted Halls Entombed, and theorize on some of the more obscure aspects of this episode. I think by the time we finish exploring the darker side of this episode we're going to discover some amazing connections. So, let's begin. The story takes place in an unknown desert region. This is where we're introduced to an elite fighting force. They are tasked with a rescue mission of a hostage from a hostile group. As they pursue the hostile group, they track them down to see them entering into a cave. Next, things progress quickly because the special force team decides to pursue the hostile targets into a large cave and try to rescue the hostage. As they enter the cave, it's clear that they are true professionals. This is seen when Sergeant Coulthard gives specific orders to each member of the team to maximize the successful outcome of the mission. They even equip the latest technology in night vision monoculars to counter the darkness of the cave. As they progress deeper into the cave, they discover a strange illuminescent slime covering the cave walls. This was the first indication that something was not right with this place. As they survey the area, they discover a body of a middle-aged male, and after a closer examination of the body by the field medic Harper, she was startled by the fact that the dead body was the hostage, the same hostage they just saw entering the cave alive and well. Finding the hostage dead wouldn't really be that strange or out of the ordinary, especially under those dangerous circumstances, but the way the body looked was far from ordinary and they all knew it. To make matters worse, they find more bodies. It's true their situation was bad, but things were about to go from bad to unimaginably terrifying. As they emotionally debated their next move, the tension was shattered by the screams of the remaining hostile forces deep in the cave. With this newfound focus they ready themselves for anything, but they weren't prepared for what dropped from the ceiling. The next part of this video will be talking about the creatures themselves, and I'll be giving my theories on what they are, and where they come from. So let's begin with their first encounter with the creatures in the cave. The first creature is an arachnid-like life form that jumped from the ceiling onto one of the soldiers' back. If we get a close look we see 8 legs like a spider, but it can also ball itself up like the pillbug. The similarities to the spider ends there, because unlike a spider that has fangs to feed, this insectoid has a mouth and jaws with razor-sharp teeth that looks like it's made to rip and tear flesh. This particular species looks like it shares a lot in common with many types of insects that we know of. For example, it swarms just like wasps and bees. It looks like when this particular species is in its swarm frenzy state, it is able to take down prey hundreds of times its size, and it's able to devour the flesh of a large adult in mere seconds. The next creature they came across was a dog-sized spider-like creature. This one was different because it didn't walk like the spider ones. These rolled almost like a disc and you can hear the clanging metal of them as they moved. These creatures are extremely dangerous because not only are they faster and bigger than the smaller version, they can use their legs as a lethal spike that is able to puncture flesh with ease. They also possess the instinctual behavior to swarm their prey. It appears these creatures have a unique biology because their body's anatomy seems to be a perfect fusion of both metal and flesh. I believe this makes them more biomechanical than natural. This metal and flesh fused into one super technology is topped off by the fact they have a luminescent glow coming from their abdomen. Now with only 2 left alive of a 6-team Special Forces op, Sergeant Coulthard and the medic Harper, they've been through the unimaginable. But the figurative door to the abyss has just opened wide for them, because the last creature they meet is unbridled horror in the flesh. The last creature could only be described as a hulking titan, massive in stature. As it towers to unmeasurable heights, the beast does seem to be a biped with 1 set of arms, and 5 fingers with razor-sharp claws. Its facial features includes what appears to be elongated point-shaped ears. I leave it open that these could also be bony protrusions, it's unclear. On top of his head is about 3 small horns with 1 larger one in the middle that protrudes from its scalp. It has about 12 yellow color eyes, and no noticeable nose or mouth. According to Harper's vision, the creature looked like it also has giant bat-like wings made of skin. The creature may not have visible mouthparts, but it does speak using its mind, and it seems powerful enough that it could even control its victims. It may also be noted that this control may be done visually by it hypnotizing its victims. It's uncertain. Things didn't end well for Sergeant Coulthard or Harper. It seems like both of them fell prey to this creature's mind control, causing Sergeant Coulthard to try to kill Harper, which only led him to lose his life. Harper's end could be considered a fate worse than death, as the show ends with her wandering the desert with her eyes gouged out by her own knife, whispering in alien language. So now this brings us to the part of trying to figure out what is going on here. What are these creatures? Well, let's start with something Sergeant Coulthard said. He said that the spider-like creatures seem to be guarding something. That statement seems to be a plausible theory. Because the name of the show is called The Entombed, and throughout history tombs that were built to imprison someone had certain layers of deterrence, whether that was in the form of booby traps or symbols. Either way, it was designed to prevent the imprisoned from escaping, and deter those from entering. What makes this tomb so special is that it has both a passive and active defense system. The active element of this defense system was seen when the soldiers first came into the cave in the form of the little carnivorous spiders. These were clearly to deter or prevent anyone from entering the cave or rescuing the prisoner from inside. The next level of active deterrent was the bigger, faster, more aggressive version of the little spiders. The bigger version activated once the interloper reached a certain area in the prison. This was seen when Sergeant Coulthard said that the little spiders didn't come into the chamber, but these bigger versions did. It appears the system has levels of threat assessment and contingency plans to counter that threat. The tomb also had a highly advanced passive system. This was seen with the large creature imprisoned in the center of this tomb, and how it was restrained. The creature was chained up, but these were no ordinary chains, which was illustrated by the glowing sigils written on them, infusing them with some sort of extra power or strength. But the passive deterrent system doesn't stop there. It looks like there are two giant pilings that also help lock down the creature from leaving. The stone piling also had sigils carved into them, preventing the creature from leaving. This brings us to our next question. Who is the creature in prison? It doesn't seem to be from Earth. Then where did it come from? Well, here's my theory. I believe this creature has a connection to another movie, and this might surprise you, but that movie is called Event Horizon. That's right. Follow me on this. Event Horizon, the ship supposedly went to another dimension. A dimension of horror and terror so bad that it infused the ship with a terrifying psychic energy which led it to show its crew nightmarish sights. And I believe there are similarities between this creature and the Event Horizon that gives me reason that this creature is from that dimension. One of the similarities between these two shows is how it controls its victim. Sergeant Coulthard was controlled by the creature because it wanted to be released. The Event Horizon controlled Dr. Weir in a similar way, causing him to kill and compromise the mission. The similarities continue. The Event Horizon showed its victims horrors of people burning and being dismembered. The same with the creature, it also shows its victims visions of horrors of people burning and being brutalized. The next similarity is the most striking. Because it has to do with body mutilation. You see, the creature caused Harper to wander the desert with her eyes gouged out, speaking in an alien tongue. The same with Event Horizon. The ship causes its victims to wander around the ship with their eyes gouged out, speaking a different language. So in the end, I believe this creature comes from a similar dimension as the Event Horizon, a dimension of horror and terror. But the true question is not the beast of the tomb, but who was able to imprison it. That's the real puzzle to be solved. So, guys, tell me what you think about the Love, Death and Robots Season 3 series. Did you like it? Leave your comments below, and as always, let's keep the conversation going, because you never know what we might discover together. And thanks for watching.